Question 24. Why is there such hatred toward black people? Undoubtedly, every black person and many other people in this country and around the world have pondered the question of why there is such hatred toward black people. Inquiring minds search for satisfying answers. Black people are puzzled, especially after considering what they have done to benefit whites over the centuries without reciprocity. After 460 years of formal slavery and Jim Crow semi-slavery, blacks remain outside and beneath the mainstream society and benefit only incidentally when the general public benefits. 22 generations of black Americans spent and devoted their entire lives to provide enrichment and comfort to white Americans. Black unpaid labor built government buildings and universities, businesses and factories, roads and bridges and canals. Black maids and servants cleaned their homes, cooked and served their food, and raised white people's children. Though most blacks were humble and loyal to this nation, they were still lynched, robbed, raped, and castrated by whites who burned down black towns like Wilmington, North Carolina, 1899, Statesboro, Georgia, 1905, Springfield, Illinois, 1908, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921, and Rosewood, Florida, 1923. In the summer of 1919, known as the Red Summer of Hate, whites rioted in 25 cities across the nation and burned, looted, and killed thousands of black persons who were simply seeking access to jobs, housing, educational opportunities, and the basic necessities of life. Until the 1960s Black Civil Rights Movement, whites initiated nearly 100% of the race riots that occurred in this nation. A contradictory behavior pattern has always existed between the way whites and blacks have treated and cared for each other, but what is at the root of white behavior toward blacks? Winthrop Jordan, author of White Over Black, American Attitudes Toward the Negro, 1550 to 181233, states that the first European immigrants coming to the Americas had preconceived, negative, and hateful attitudes about black people that were formed by their European traditions, religion, and culture. The fear and loathing they felt toward blacks were a part of European culture passed down through the centuries and across the continent into Asia and other countries. Jordan says that Europeans associated blackness with evil, badness, filth, the devil, and damnation, while associating their own white skin color with goodness, innocence, cleanliness, purity, and an angel-like quality. In 1638, the European colonists institutionalized their hatred of blacks into a public edict in the Maryland colony. That edict of 1638 established a baseline relationship between blacks and whites. The first European colonialists had brought a few blacks with them to America as servants. The edict stipulated that neither those blacks nor their offspring would be permitted to enjoy the fruits of white society. In 1663, the Maryland legislature confirmed the public edict with a law stipulating all Negroes shall serve as slaves for life. That legal expression of hatred toward blacks carried over into the Articles of the Confederation, the U.S. Constitution, and was the foundation for the creation of racial slavery in the U.S. Moving along the timeline of history, other writers hypothesize that white hatred of blacks relates to the American Civil War and the destruction of the Southern genteel culture and lifestyle. These writers speculate that Southerners hold blacks responsible for the South losing the Civil War. In his book, Honor and Slavery, Kenneth S. Greenberg explains white hatred of blacks. Greenberg postulates that it stems from two things. The first reason was the belief of Southern whites that there is no honor in being a slave. Southern whites had come from European countries where honor was of paramount importance, and many men had died in duels defending their honor. According to their cultural mores, no honor was due a group of people that allowed itself to be enslaved. Such a group was not entitled to sympathy, pity, respect, or honor. Secondly, according to Greenberg, Southern whites in particular, and whites in general, view black people as a docile, submissive, compromising, forgiving, weak people who lack manhood, therefore deserve to be feminized through symbolic or physical castrations. In summary, Greenberg presents the position that some whites hold, that blacks would have been better off fighting and dying, rather than allowing themselves to become the lowest and most subservient individuals in society. Greenberg links the dueling to the death for honor attitude of Europeans and Southern gentlemen to the way whites feel about blacks having been slaves. If there is truth to Greenberg's work, then the nonviolent passive resistance, compromising and acquiescing attitudes taught by black ministers, black civil rights leaders, and black elected officials only reinforce the lack of respect and hatred of those who hold those opinions. While these theories are a window into the thinking of some, it is not possible to determine the precise etiology of the negative attitudes held by whites toward blacks. It is a long-standing complex subject,